little bit about my company and myself. I worked at Atlassian for 4 years. I worked in the support team, and I helped fix Jira instances and stuff like that. While there, I made something called the Markdown macro. I don't know if anyone remembers, but in 2013, Atlassian deprecated markup, and everyone went crazy. So as a ship it, I built this Markdown macro, and then after leaving Atlassian, I managed this app further. We're at about 5,000 active installations with more than 3.5 million end users just for that app at this point. In 2016, I started Atlas Authority in my apartment, and it's grown. We've got about 6 team members now. We work with very large clients. That's most of our user base. And we have clients both on consulting services side and on product side. On 2021, I'm trying to retire, so if you guys want to buy my software, that'll really help. Kind of just all the stuff not highlighted is the typical stuff that partners do. For you guys here, META-INF will handle almost all of that, if not all of it entirely. They're really good, and I love working with them. On the product side is more what we're here to talk about today, and this talk specifically will address the 3 highlighted ones. We're going to look at Tableau for Confluence. We're going to look at Iframe integration into Confluence, and the Markdown macro, which I mentioned. So, yeah, there we go. So I want to start with some backstory. So if you look at this, just take a sec, look at it, and then kind of the follow-up question, and pardon if I translated this correctly or not, but can you guys raise your hands? No, one or the other. So look at this, right? And then which one did you see? Okay, we got a decent mix. But the point is, right, that like, when you look at this, you don't really know what it is by definition. And 2 people can look at the same thing and interpret it in different ways. And you know, the reason why I bring this up is, and again, I don't know if I translated this correctly, but facts are, you know, just the beginning, and we need stories to really communicate things effectively. And a lot of what we do with clients is make sure that they are really connecting information start to finish and making sure that it's effective. And I learned it from this guy. His name is Chris. He got me in a lot of trouble when I worked at Atlassian because I worked in support, and I would have clients like yourselves come to us and say, Boris, you know, XYZ is broken, fix it. And I would be like, oh, this is like the 4th customer I've talked to today, and they're all frustrated about the same thing. And I'd go to the product team, and I'd be like, oh, let me tell you this like sad story about this customer who had to like work on the weekend because the stuff didn't work. And people didn't do anything about it. They'd be like, that's a cool story, but we don't care. Or in the opposite, I would come and I'd be like, look, here's a story of like 10 broken things, like just showing them the data. And again, no one responded to it. So the thing that Chris really taught me was that you need both the facts and the story to come together and tell a cohesive kind of experience. So jumping in with that, Markdown macro for Confluence is a really simple app that we built. This is a Bitbucket repository that we have. We post a bunch of scripts on there for just random one-off stuff like deleting a bunch of projects from Jira or generating fake users, kind of all kinds of stuff that we write for our clients. We publish it publicly. And at the bottom, there is this like FAQ of Markdown that we've written. And that's wonderful when it just lives in Bitbucket. But that doesn't help somebody like my marketing person who's going to be searching for stuff in Confluence. So with Markdown macro, on the left, we've got the editor interface for Confluence. And you can see that all we've got there is a macro with a URL pointing at the repository. And then when you view the issue, it looks like that FAQ is in line with the story that, you know, is being told within the context of that page. So really, really simple to use, really easy to use. You can put Markdown directly into it. You can either do it via URL. There are alternative plugins that people sell for money, which do the same thing, but this one's free, so feel free to use it. Yeah, so that's just kind of like an introduction to what I mean about, you know, fact versus like story and context. This is kind of a bit more complex, so this is Tableau for Confluence. I don't know, does anyone here actually use Tableau in this audience? Okay, we got a couple. Anyone use Power BI or Looker? Okay. So you guys get the idea. This is specifically for Tableau. We're looking at building other integrations that are similar to this, but you get the idea. So in America, we have a really big problem with drug abuse, and specifically opioids, which I think is the same word in Hungarian, but it's a really big problem. A lot of people are dying, and so a lot of people look at Atlassian tools and think, oh, this is used for software development, but we deal with a lot of clients that work in medicine. We work with a lot of clients that work in policy. So we see all kinds of information flowing through Atlassian applications. And so this is a map of opioid prescriptions per person at the county level in the United States. And you can see where it gets a lot darker. That's where basically they're overprescribing opioids and they're giving out too many of these things through pharmacies. And this is wonderful, and this is super helpful when you have this information and you're a policymaker or you just need to make some kind of decision. And it's even better when you're like, okay, cool, I'll take a screenshot of that and I'll put that within my Confluence page where we're talking about this and maybe planning, some kind of PR work or whatever. But what if you can just inline have access to all the information that's in that diagram, right? And again, this is like a very specific example of me using sample data, but this could be your company's sales figures. This could be your company's uptime information. This could be your company's user data being aggregated and pulled inline and live made accessible to your users. Really easily. And from a configuration perspective, this is, I don't have a slide for it, but this is just a couple of fields that you fill in and you're done. So, and then moving on, we have iframes for Confluence. So iframes, who knows what an iframe is? Raise your hand. Okay, so for the people that don't know what an iframe is, it's basically saying, hey, take this website and put it in a box in this other one, in the middle of it. Not literally in the middle, but you get the idea. So in English, we have something called per diem, which is basically the money that you get paid per day when you travel. It's tax-free, and this is the traveling that I've been doing so far this year, not including this trip. Yeah, I travel a lot. So I have to track this stuff because this is money that my accountant then needs to make sure that I get paid. There's tax implications, all kind of stuff. And it's great when it's like sitting here, but then I don't know what policies are involved in this. There's different laws and stuff that we have to follow. So we can put this again as a screenshot into our travel policy, but then I'm switching back and forth. It's hard to contextualize information. So we can embed it, and here you can see this is kind of like a public embed view where it's non-editable, nothing can be done. But I do have a fully functioning kind of spreadsheet available there. We can also go one step further, and we can actually embed it in a fully editable view. So here I'm not authenticated in that in the recording, but if I was authenticated, I could edit it right here in line while I'm looking at the policy document, and make sure that what I'm doing here really kind of makes sense. But leading up to this event, I was doing some research with our user base, and so I emailed them and I said, hey, we're just wondering, like, what are you actually putting in these iframes? And I got just like a couple things back. People are putting all kinds of stuff in there, and a lot of stuff is also internal, so it's not stuff we can list. But of the logos that you see up here, how many of you guys are using at least one of these things in a professional manner? Okay. It's a decent number. But remember, these are just major services where like I could find easy logos. We got a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, we have an internal site that just like, I think someone said that they're literally using it to connect to their home monitoring system. So they're using it to like track their home security while at work. And other people do all kinds of stuff with it. But the point is that you can really embed anything. That's the flexibility of it. And hopefully end of this month, we'll be releasing a new version of this, which will allow not only iframes, but will also allow custom HTML to be placed inside of an iframe. This means that your staff will be able to put HTML into Confluence in a secure manner where you don't have to worry about JavaScript attacks and things like that. So it should be pretty cool. We have a booth out there today, and then tomorrow we're in the back room. Please feel free to come by, and I'm happy to do a demo of any of this stuff and show you the other stuff that we're working on. And I think I went through that a little fast, so if you guys have any questions, I think I've got a couple minutes. Nope, cool. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.